The Thunder are coming off back-to-back road wins, but the excitement extends to the opponent tonight as Oklahoma native Trae Young is back in his home state, getting ready to play the team he grew up watching. Oklahoma State is continuing its tough conference stretch of games against top 15 opponents, but as head coach Mike Boynton will tell you, you don't play in the Big 12 with the expectation of running away from teams. Ronnie Perkins, you guys mentioned, he mentioned after Bedlam how he's just trying to get his meals back, and that has been showing, especially tonight again. He is just dominant on that line. The freshman phenom has been as good as advertised for Oklahoma State, averaging 20 points and 5 boards a game. Trae was asked his thoughts on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and going up against him not too long ago in Oklahoma City. And again, they'll be going against each other tonight in the NBA Rising Stars game. Fans will have a chance to see some of the top prospects in the Dodgers organization play this season. Some of the guys even got called up last year to the big club to help them win the World Series. For both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, their opponents are set in the Midwest region. We have Oklahoma State going up against Liberty. That's tomorrow at 5:25. Top-seeded Oklahoma taking on number 16 Washington this afternoon. And this one started off with some controversy after Washington pitcher Gabby Plain hit 3 batters to walk in a run. Huskies head coach Heather Tarr letting the ump have it. You come back, you have 5 straight games with a home run in it. What's changed for you at the plate? Coach Tomich told me before the game, serve and serve receive. That's what paces her blocking game as far as defense, and that also paces the offense. On any given game day for Oklahoma, you can expect to see Dwayne Doolittle sitting right here at midcourt, decked out in OU gear, cheering on his son and the Sooners. It's a basketball tradition that's been years in the making. Oh yeah, Dan, we are keeping very busy so far for NBA All-Star Weekend, but what's crazy to think how busy we are, the players are even busier. Just following Trae Young around today, it was very interesting seeing what all he's fitting into his couple days here in Chicago, in addition to playing in the Rising Star game, as well as obviously the big All-Star game on Sunday night. Avery Clark grew up on the diamond. Oh!
My brother always played baseball, so I was always at the field with him.
With afternoons spent at the ball field with her dad, hitting and fielding, Avery fell in love with softball.
The competitiveness. I'm competitive, and I love the drive, to get better and be better.
Her senior year was off to a great start. She had just committed to Seminole State and started fall season.
We moved positions around, and I moved to third base this year and instead of outfield, and it was going really good.
But then Avery was thrown the biggest curveball of her career.
I just had, pain in my arm. It wasn't really anything I was concerned about because I wanted to keep playing. I didn't really care about the pain, It wasn't a big deal to me. And I went to an orthopedic doctor because I thought I just tore it.
But Avery's 2 MRIs revealed a much different result than what she expected.
It came back as a rare form of non-Hodgkin's.
A type of cancer that affects the lymph nodes and immune system, and a diagnosis the Clarks were shocked to hear.
I never even thought it would be cancer. It didn't ever cross my mind.
You never wish this on any child, especially your own. And to hear that news and knowing, she has her whole life ahead of her, you're just devastated. It was just surreal, I guess, because, I'm only 18, so I didn't really think in my life I would have this until maybe later. It's just not something that you think about, but it's definitely scary at first.
Avery was in the midst of her final basketball season when she started chemo. And even though the treatments took a toll on her, she refused to stop playing.
It was my senior season, and I wasn't gonna miss it because it was my last time playing basketball. And I didn't really want to let my team down because I owe a lot to them, and they were there for me through everything.
Every 3 weeks, from March until May, Avery went through treatment after treatment after treatment alone due to the coronavirus pandemic.
I'm a very independent woman, but when it comes to this, I definitely would have liked someone to be there with me. It definitely took a toll on my body. I don't think, trying to get back to where I was from now, it's really hard. It took a lot on my body.
What was the hardest part of the process once you found out your diagnosis?
I would say cutting my hair. That was probably the hardest thing for me because I had really curly hair. So yeah, that was probably the hardest thing by far out of everything.
And then June 5th, you received some news.
That was the best day of my life. I've been waiting to hear that.
Avery was cancer-free.
At that moment, I wasn't thinking of anything. I was just so excited and so happy. She took it in stride, especially with everything that she had to deal with her senior year of high school, and then going through this also. So, I mean, I know she can get through anything now that comes her way. So, it just made me very proud of her. So.
She always had a smile on her face. I mean, regardless on what it was, sitting in chemo, having her signs, that she would display all over Facebook, but she'd always have a smile on her face. Me as a parent, I was always looking at it going, how can you be smiling? So it just goes to show you how strong she is.
In the weeks since, Avery has returned to the diamond with her dad, hitting and fielding, getting ready for her seminal career with a renewed outlook.
I think that it makes me even want to work harder because, that could be my last game, it could be my last practice, you just never know. And, if I want to go out, I'm going to go out with a bang.
Now, Avery still has to go through checkups every 3 months for the next 2 years, but she says she feels extremely blessed to be back on the diamond with her teammates, getting ready for her freshman season at Seminole.
I thought, today's a really nice day. It's a kind of a fall day. I'm going to go out and play. And I just remember thinking, wow, the grass is so green, our course is looking nice. And that's the last thing I remember.
That was the last time Monty Elam would ever see those vivid details of the golf course. The next day, Monty went in for routine eye surgery, but coming out of recovery, this is all he saw.
At first, I knew that my eyes were going to be covered. I knew that I wasn't going to really be able to see very well just because of the surgery. Again, things I was told was routine. Everything that was happening was routine. Well, it never got better.
Monty's vision never restored, leaving him completely blind.
And that's kind of when the emotions kick in of, well, what's going to happen from here? And then you realize, well, this may be permanent.
With this, Monty had to step away from Blackberry Patch, the course in Michigan he owned and operated. And 6 months later, after multiple surgeries and procedures, Cleveland Clinic doctors were able to partially restore sight in Monty's left eye. This is what he sees now.
As far as day-to-day living, it was a big adjustment. And you don't think about it till it actually happens. From just walking down the hallway, preparing food, getting dressed, just everything you take for granted on everyday life, it changes.
At first, Monty was told he wouldn't be able to golf or work at a course again, but he didn't let that stop him.
I was very upset. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life because I had been in the golf business for a long time and really loved it. But as time went on, I realized, I can do it. Just move forward with it, and that's what I've done.
Adjusting to his new normal, Monty not only got a job working at Whiteford Valley Golf Club, but he also got back to playing the game he loves. But it hasn't been easy.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating. That was probably the most frustrating thing because obviously I went from a level of being able to play competitively to a level where I'm kind of just hoping to hit the ball.
Although often frustrated, Monty is not defeated. His experience has propelled him to be a beacon of hope for others, proving there are options other than quitting on life.
Never give up. I mean, that's a cliche, but never give up. And I never thought about giving up. So, I mean, I didn't look at it as a disability, and I just kept moving forward.
Now, Monty also works with golfers who have disabilities, and that work is being recognized by the PGA. He will fly out to Palm Springs next week to receive the Deacon Palmer Award.